Hey everyone, Chris here from Real Rideshare Stories. On this channel we do a lot of different things within the rideshare industry, so if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. But before we get started, if you have a crazy Uber Lyft experience, whether you're a passenger or a driver, record it, send it my way, and maybe we can feature you on the channel. Alright, so let's talk about some best practices for when you are about to drive and before you hit that go online button. And this is also some good tips for anybody driving. If you have a vehicle and you're about to get in the car, you should be doing this also. Some of these tips are going to be specifically for drivers before beginning rideshare. But yes, if you are a driver in general, these are some tips that you should be doing to start driving before any time you get behind the wheel. All right, so number one, or the first tip, be awake. If you are tired for any reason, wake yourself up. Either get coffee, get some caffeine, an energy drink, or even a nap or something before driving. So you want to make sure you're awake. Always be alert, always be aware. So always make sure that you're awake. Don't start a night or a day if you're tired, but do something to, just perk yourself up. Like I said, coffee, energy drink. The three things I like to use is drinking loose leaf tea. It's going to give you a better energy kick than coffee or energy drinks. At least the ones with sugar in them. Also, drinking a cup of mate. That's also really good for energy, and you don't get that crash after either. Both those you don't want to drink with any sugar. And then for energy drinks, I recommend Celsius energy drinks, which you can get at like Vitamin Shop or GNC. I've seen them in like some Sunoco's when I'm driving long distances overnight or something. I do recommend that because it's got no sugar or anything. That's what I drink before I also start a shift at any time, just because it has much more caffeine than like a Red Bull or anything like that, and it's got no sugar or anything. So that's always good. So be awake. It's very, very important. If you fall asleep behind the wheel, no go. Don't do it. It's not worth it. And then another tip, also a zero tolerance towards alcohol policy you should have. If you are going out, you had a couple drinks, you went to a party or something, you said, oh, I'm going to go out and start driving for the rest of the night. Nope, don't do it. Have a zero tolerance policy. The rule of thumb is it takes about an hour for a drink to break down. So if you had, 2-3 drinks and you think you're fine, don't do it. Make sure you have a zero tolerance policy towards it. So wait 3 hours or whatever amount of hours it is for the drinks, and then go out. If that means you don't go out for that night, hey, you're not going out for that night. Have a zero tolerance policy. Do not drink and drive ever. If you do drink and drive, you are bad, and you deserve to get DWI at the very minimum. And nobody wants anything worse than that. So make sure you never, ever, ever drink and drive. All right, a couple of things that you can do, that you should do, and it's very quick when you're walking around the car. You should always walk around the car before starting any type of trip anywhere, whether you're just going to the local grocery store, whether you're going down the street, going to work, or starting a Uber or Lyft shift. Walk around the car, check the tires, make sure that the pressure is where it should be, that they're not low, they're not flat, and see what the issue is if it is low, or if it goes flat. You want to make sure you know what's going on. So always walk around the car, check that out. Check under the car for any leaks that may happen. So if you see any oil leaks, if you see any just leaks there anywhere, just see if there's anything leaking under your car and find out where it is coming from, if it is. Now, obviously, if you just got back from driving somewhere and you had the air conditioning on, you're going to be leaking water because the air conditioning condenser is going to leak water onto the ground. That's fine. You know exactly where that'll be in the car. Don't worry about that one. But if you notice any other leaks, anything happening, you want to make sure you take note of that, figure out what it is, and see what's going on. And then also, open up the engine bay, check that out, and look at all the different reservoirs for your fluids. So, you could check your brake fluid, you could check your windshield wiper fluid, you could check your radiator fluid, you could check your power steering fluid, all those different things you want to check and make sure, because if they're leaking in any way, you'll know right there. So you want to have, they all have a minimum and a maximum. You want to be slightly under the maximum so it doesn't overflow or anything. But yeah, definitely make sure you do that. Check your fluid levels. If anything is starting to go down or starting to leak, you really want to make sure you figure out what it is, where it's happening, and get it fixed. So if your power steering fluid starts going down, you probably got a leak somewhere in your system, and you need to get that taken care of, because otherwise you might get some power steering loss. Same thing with brake fluid. If your brake fluid is going down, you could have a leak in your ABS sensor or something like that, and then it can slowly leak out, and then all of a sudden you'll lose power or you'll lose braking capabilities at some points. So you want to make sure you really stay on top of that stuff, because, hey, guess what? You're transporting other people, and then not only the fact that you're transporting other people, there's a lot of people around that you're driving as well too. So if you lose braking ability, you have a very real chance of slamming in the back of somebody, and then them rolling into another car, and just this bad chain reaction. So make sure you check it. Those few things that you could do, literally walking around, getting under your car, looking at the fluids, is all under a minute. It won't do anything to you. It's not bad. But also make sure you check in for small critters, mice, birds, squirrels, anything like that. They can get in there too, in your car, make a nest, something. So if you see any critters in there, get them out, because they can cause some problems. If they're making a nest and they chew some rubber lines or a line or anything like that, that can cause a serious problem as well too. So make sure that there's no critters in the car. And then when you're actually getting in the car, first check all the seatbelts, make sure there's no wear and tear on them or anything like that. Seatbelts should last a long time, but yes, you should be making sure that there is no wear and tear. If somebody cut them accidentally and you don't know, that could happen. So you want to make sure you take care of that. Also, if there's any garbage or anything, get it out of there, get it clean for the night that you're going out. Now, make sure that you have also a full tank of gas or enough for driving that shift. So you don't want to be stopping and getting gas while you're on a ride. If you do have to stop and get gas, on a ride, the only real time I would say it's acceptable is if you're on a long ride, but prepare for it beforehand. So either fill up your tank before, or go to the gas station, fill your tank up, and then start, or fill it up enough, or know you have enough to get through the shift that you're going to get through, and then do it that way. But if you do have to get gas during your shift, don't do it during the ride. On one of the rides, when it starts getting low, click last ride, and then go get some gas after that ride is over, and then go back online. But don't get it while you have passengers in the car, unless it's a long trip where it's a couple hours away and you didn't prepare for it or you didn't think that would happen. That's going to be a little bit more acceptable. But other than that, make sure you get gas before that. Also, make sure you have some water or a drink for yourself. You want to make sure you stay hydrated, so you want to bring some water and even maybe a second drink or something, just for flavor, maybe Gatorade or whatever you want to do. And also bring a snack if you need it, or you can go get some drive-through or something. But you want to make sure that you not only are hydrated, but at least not hungry as well either, because hunger can cause issues, and it can cause people to become disoriented. It can become certain issues where you're not paying attention properly. So if you're hungry, stop, get something to eat, or grab a snack and eat that. So make sure you bring that, or go on the ride and get them at some point as well. Now, another thing, make sure your memory card on your dash cam is clear and ready to go. If you are doing loop footage, which some people do, that's cool. But I'm going to recommend that you save all footage on your dash cam. If you don't have a dash cam yet, make sure you get one. There's a link in the description below that you can check out. It's the camera I use. I love it. It's fantastic. If you don't have a dash cam yet, get one. You need it just to protect yourself for anything. It's strongly recommended. But yeah, I use the Vantrue N2 Pro. It's a great camera. Check it out. Link is in the description below. You can check it out, see if you like it, and then get one if you don't have it. I'm also going to make a video coming out soon that's going to be talking about how long you should store your footage for, if you should store it, and all that good stuff. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for that upcoming video, as well as all of our great other upcoming videos. But yes, make sure your memory card is ready to go, that it's not going to fill up in the middle of the ride or the beginning of the ride. The beginning of the shift or the middle of the shift. Make sure it's clear, ready to go, so you have the ability to record your entire shift. Also, when you're in the car, check any windows in your mirrors, check the windows, make sure there's no dirt so you can see in and out clearly. Sometimes you get like a dirt film after it rains, and it just, the way it dries, if it was like a dirtier rain or something like that, or if your car had a little bit of dust, or whatever it might be, you might not be able to see out of the windows clearly. So just make sure you check to see what the windows look like, and if there's any problems, you get out, clean it off. But other than that, you're ready to go. So make sure you check those few things. Again, like I say, a lot of those things you can do in under a couple of minutes. It's not going to be a big thing or a big deal. Checking fluids is very simple. Checking under the car is very simple. It's literally get down, stand back up, walking around the car adds 10-12 seconds to it. So make sure you're doing these things every time before you get in the car and drive, whether you're a rideshare driver or not, because it could be a major thing that you don't even realize, and you get on the road, something happens, and you could have prevented it beforehand. So make sure you take those preventative action measures just to make sure to verify that nothing is going wrong, and be safe so you don't run into those issues. All right, that's the end of today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, learned a lot. A lot of that is common sense, hopefully, but a lot of people also don't do it. So if you aren't doing it, you should get into the habit of doing it, just to make sure your car is running at the best performance and all that good stuff. But make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, so you'll be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Smash that like button, and as always, never drink and drive, always tip your drivers, and we'll see you next time.